Today we are going to watch Desiderio, created by Dr. Nowhere. If you haven't already watched the short film, I recommend watching it first. At the beginning, we see a house in quite isolated area. Then inside that house, we see a man who I think is doing breathing exercises. Next we see his stomach opening up, and inside of it, there is a strange looking entity. When he sees it, he looks a bit freaked out. Then he raises his hand and starts putting it inside his opened up stomach. And here we can clearly see that entity. Anyways, he stretches his hand forward and picks up some kind of medicine from there. And then he took the pill and swallows it. After that, we see him with a lampshade frame on his head, doing breathing exercises while wearing it. Then we see a POV shot through that lamp frame. He's looking forward his fireplace, and suddenly a pair of lungs appears there. Then he goes up to the roof and looks down through the chimney, and then he comes back down. That's when the entity that was inside his stomach appears.
There's a storm coming, friend.
The entity says, "There's storm coming, friend." By the way, friend is his name. There's storm coming, friend. They'll never find out what's wrong with you. And even if they did, they're just gonna make you sicker. The doctor just want to lie to you. They're gonna keep pumping you full of things that fixes one problem and then makes a worse one. You can go over there and they'll all just try to shove more medicine down your gullet.
You can go over there. I'll just try and shove more medicine down your gullet.
There's a storm coming, friend, and you'll be all alone in your house. When it gets here, every drop on your floor will remind you that there is no one to share the comfort with. And, you'll be all alone with me. And you remember our deal, don't you? You should be grateful to even be here. While the entity is saying all this, another entity comes out of its stomach and starts going somewhere. In the middle of all this, we see a photograph. In that photo, Fran is standing next to a cut down tree. Could this tree and the entity be related? Then we see Fran sitting in front of the same fireplace with a cord coming out of his stomach. His face and eyes look very tense and he seems terrified. He pulls the cord and drags the entity out of his body. Next, the upper half of Fran's body gets cut and risen through the fireplace to chimney, and then his soul leaves his body. His upper body falls down. His soul travels through the air. And in the end, it reaches the same spot where Fran had cut down the tree. And this is where Desiderio ends. So what exactly happened there? From what I understood, it seems that Fran accidentally cut down a tree that had a spirit living inside it. And that's why the entity kinda looks like a tree. After he cut down that tree, strange things started happening to him and he began to fall sick. I think that's why his soul in the end went back to the same spot where that tree used to be. But in the description, it says Frank Neal, a lone hypochondriac. A hypochondriac is basically someone who is overly worried about their health and constantly feels like they are sick, even when they are actually fine. So what does that mean? Was the entity inside Fran's stomach just his imagination? Maybe. I think after cutting down that tree, Fran felt guilty and that guilt triggered his hypochondria. But if he truly felt guilty, he couldn't have hung that photograph on his wall. Then again, if you look closely at the photograph, the way the tree is cut into two parts, Fran also gets split into two parts. And as the description says, Fran finally confronts the root of his illness. That shows us that everything started after he cut down that tree, and when his spirit reached that exact spot again, everything finally ended. So like I mentioned earlier, the upper half of his body gets cut down just like the tree. Throughout the short film, we have seen some scenes where his stomach was cut open. And I think that's kind of a metaphor. Just like we slowly chop down tree with an axe, this whole short film could be a metaphor for how humans are destroying trees and causing deforestation. That's probably why Fran was having trouble breathing, to show that by cutting down trees, we humans are actually harming ourselves. By the way, what do you think about it? Make sure to tell me in comments. You was watching Nav They Do. That's it. Okay, bye.